Welcome to Everyday Magic, where we explore adding pops of magic to your everyday life. I'm Michele, shamanic energy alchemist and owner of Living Moon Meditation, where I help people find balance in their personal, professional, and spiritual lives. It's my honor to help you incorporate magic into your mundane life. Let's get started. Love Everyday Magic podcast. You can support it and me and help keep it ad-free by joining me as a patron on Patreon. For as little as $7 per month, you can help keep me going. That's at patreon.com/livingmoonpodcasts. If you're not already on my email list, be sure to sign up at livingmoonmeditation.com. All of these links are in the show notes. And now for our featured quote. You know, I do believe in magic. I was born and raised in a magic time, in a magic town, among magicians. Oh, most everybody else didn't realize we lived in that web of magic, connected by silver filaments of chance and circumstance, but I knew it all along. When I was 12 years old, the world was my magic lantern, and by its green spirit glow I saw the past, the present, and into the future. You probably did too, you just don't recall it. See, this is my opinion. We all start out knowing magic. We are born with whirlwinds, forest fires, and comets inside us. We are born able to sing to birds and read the clouds and see our destiny in grains of sand. But then we get the magic educated right out of our souls. We get it churched out, spanked out, washed out, and combed out. We get put on the straight and narrow and told to be responsible, told to act our age, told to grow up for God's sake. And you know why we were told that? Because the people doing the telling were afraid of our wildness and youth, and because the magic we knew made them ashamed and sad of what they'd allowed to wither in themselves. Robert McCammon from A Boy's Life. What is magic? You may have encountered it spelled M-A-G-I-C or M-A-G-I-C-K. Is there a difference when the K is added at the end? That depends on the person you are talking to. Some people think of magic without the K as sleight of hand tricks like a magician at a child's birthday party. Those people are usually the ones who use magic with the K instead. They want to differentiate between the magic that they practice and sleight of hand tricks. I use the word magic without the K because of the history associated with that K. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that history, but I urge you to choose the spelling that you are most comfortable with, no matter what it is. Because in the end, everyone's magic is personal, and that includes how you spell it. The history of the word magic with the K dates back to Aleister Crowley. Crowley was a celebrated and well-known occultist of his time and was the founder of Thelema, an esoteric philosophy and religion that rests on the will of the person. Now, while the spelling of magic with the K did not originate with Crowley, because it's a much older and archaic spelling, it is one that he embraced and promoted with his ceremonial magic and writings. Crowley began using the archaic spelling of magic in order to differentiate the occult and ceremonial usage from stage magic, which was highly popular at the time. And I don't have a problem with the reason he chose, as many magical practitioners still choose to use this spelling for that reason. But I don't think it is necessary, and I often wonder how many people choose to use it without knowing about the connection with Crowley. Now, Aleister Crowley has often been called the most evil man on earth. His personal lifestyle was certainly considered evil at the time, although not so much today. He also enjoyed controversy very much and would go out of his way to sound and appear more controversial than he may have otherwise been viewed. However, one thing that is not questionable is his racism and his hatred of Jews. I find this anti-Semitic and racist approach quite ironic, considering that he studied and embraced Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism, and incorporated it into Thelema. Now, I'm not going to go into depth into Crowley's racism or his anti-Semitism. You can find evidence of it quite easily online in his writings and various articles about him. But I have, for your convenience, linked some articles for you in the show notes. And these are just a few. There are many more out there. Do I think that Aleister Crowley was the most evil man on earth? That's not for me to say. Do I dismiss anything associated with him because of his beliefs and teachings? No. So why do I refuse to add the K to magic? Because the use of the arcane spelling of magic today is directly related to Aleister Crowley and his teachings. If it was necessary to differentiate spiritual magic from stage magic, I could possibly see it, but I don't think it is necessary now, and I don't think it was necessary for Crowley's time either. I choose to believe that people are smart enough to know the difference when we are speaking of magic. And because it isn't necessary to use a special spelling for people to know what we are talking about, I think it does matter which spelling we do use. I personally choose not to use the K in magic. But not using it, I'm showing that I don't agree with Aleister Crowley's racist beliefs and standing against his teaching. So choose the spelling you prefer and are comfortable with. If that includes a K, I'm all for it. If not, that's perfect too. The thing is, magic is what we make it, and we all have a different practice. What we believe and how we do things is different, and that's what makes magic so beautiful. If we were all the same, then the world and magic would be pretty damn dull. Ultimately, the spelling doesn't matter because magic is a mindset. It's what you believe it is. Magic is manipulating your environment to get a desired outcome. But manipulation in this case is not bad. It's taking what you have and transmuting it into what you want. Magic is neither bad nor good. It's neither black nor white. It's neither dark nor light. Magic just is. It's what you make of it. If you don't believe in magic, then you aren't magical. And if you do believe, then you are. Magical practitioners often use tools like crystals, herbs, oils, etc. to manipulate the situation or to create an intention. But tools aren't necessary, and many practitioners use nothing at all. Magic isn't a spell. It's not an incantation. It's not a ritual. It's not a charm. Magic is energy. Everything is energy, and magic is using your mind to change the frequency and vibration of energy. You know how people use visualization to help themselves become better at whatever they are working at? Like a basketball player who struggles to make a goal, but visualizes herself doing it until she succeeds. That's magic. Or a person with low self-esteem who repeats positive affirmations daily until she starts to believe good things about herself. That's magic. We create magic with our minds. We create what we think, and it's impossible to create positive things in our lives when all we think about is negative. And likewise, it's impossible to create negative when all we think about is the positive. Yes, bad things happen. That's life. That's not magic. Magic comes into play when you take what life gives you and change it into what you want. It's often not easy, and no one is successful 100% of the time, but everyone can create magic. If you think you can, then you can. It's all in your mind and what you think. And now for the Astro Forecast. January 24th, Mars enters Capricorn at 7:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. On January 25th, we have the last quarter moon at 8:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as Mercury retrograde entering Capricorn at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On January 29th, Venus turns direct at 3:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Moving into February, we have the new moon in Aquarius on February 1st at 12:46 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also Juno entering Aquarius on February 1st at 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then finally, Mercury stations direct on February 3rd at 11:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our recommended book this week is called La Petite Mort and is by Aleister Blake. This is a work of fiction and is a short little novella that you can read in one afternoon. The basic premise of the story is that Marissa Marrero inherits a house in the French Quarter of New Orleans from her grandmother who has just passed away. There are all kinds of weird and strange conditions attached to having the house, and Marissa moves to New Orleans to take the home and see what those conditions are. She's met with a whole lot of vampires and other beings when she arrives. Now that's all I'm going to say so that I don't spoil the story for you. It's a cute little witchy read. Again, it's a short novella. It has a total of 205 pages with larger print, so it reads rather quickly. If you like a good vampire story, then La Petite Mort by Aleister Blake is a good choice for you. Love Everyday Magic Podcast. I'd love to have you give me a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Want more magic with me? Join my free Facebook community, Bad Witch Society. It's the perfect place for anyone who's ever been told their brand of magic or witchcraft isn't right. Your magic is valid. Let's celebrate it together. You can find it at facebook.com/groups/badwitch, all one word. I have the link in the show notes for you. And if you're into Jewish magic, give my other podcast a listen. You can find Jewish Magic Podcast on the same platforms as this one. Time for the witchy news. On a recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé, Ella Johnson admitted to being a witch and a member of a coven. Since then, fans of the show have been giving her backlash, calling her delusional and telling her to manifest COVID away. In other news, renowned British stage actor Catherine Hunter plays all 3 witches in the latest adaptation of Macbeth. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, she said that she wanted to stay away from any Halloween-esque portrayal of witches and that she believes we all have witches inside us. She also said that her research for the roles included online research into modern spells. You can read both of these articles by visiting the links in the show notes. Do you have a witchy question you're itching to have an answer to? Send me an email and I may answer it in an upcoming episode. It might also become the topic of an upcoming episode. You can send questions to me at hello@livingmoonmeditation.com. I have the link in the show notes for you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Everyday Magic. It's truly been my pleasure to talk to you today. If you liked this episode, or you think it will be useful for someone else, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast app. If you've got any questions, send me a DM on Instagram at Living Moon Meditation. Remember, it's all about real magic for your real life. See you next time.